With the Oscars in the rearview mirror, everyone is talking about Best Picture winner Anora.
But I'm more interested in talking about everything flying under the radar. If you haven't watched my last video about the Oscars, go ahead and check that out before getting into this one. But to sum up the point I made there, I don't think we should use awards to recognize great art. By singling out certain films, we cause our society to overlook others, and it makes it easy to miss other great films. Today, I would like to talk about 5 films that deserve more attention than they got this year, and some that may have been overlooked by voting bodies. This list isn't made to say that movies nominated and awarded this year aren't great. There are many great films this year that are worth watching. This list is for people looking for some hidden gems, or for those of you who have already watched everything nominated this year and want to find something new. This list is in no particular order, so with number 5, we have Robert Zemeckis' Here. This movie is pretty controversial, but hear me out and then hate me after hearing what I have to say. Here is about a singular location, and as time passes, the world around changes. We see it start with the dinosaurs, work its way through centuries of life until a house pops up, and people begin living there. There are 4 families that inhabit the house, beginning sometime around the turn of the century all the way to present day. The people that are kind of the main characters are Richard and Margaret Young, played by Tom Hanks and Robin Wright. Richard is the son of the 3rd couple that inhabit the house. I don't want to give away the story of the film, but basically, we watch slices of life from each family as the years pass in a non-linear way. The film lends itself to a theatrical play-like structure. The camera moves once at the end of the film, and there are virtually no cuts. Every change of scenery and time period is done in a comic book style because the film is based on a graphic novel, or the cuts are done in a way to give the illusion there is no cut, leading to a movie with almost no pauses, similar to a play. Why was this film overlooked? For many reasons. First, the film used artificial intelligence to de-age Tom Hanks and Robin Wright. Many have said that it gives uncanny valley, which is not unusual for a Robert Zemeckis film. Additionally, people were upset with the use of AI, period. Personally, I don't think it looked that bad, but to speak on the AI use, I'm not sure if I'm qualified to speak on the ethics of using AI for de-aging VFX, as I don't know how that impacts people who typically do de-aging VFX. I will say that The Brutalist and Emilia Perez both used AI for their films to help the voices of actors in the film. If Here and its AI use turn viewers away, why aren't they turning away from those films? People who saw the film also took issue with the multiple characters who we were introduced to during the film. Many said it was hard to focus and invest in them because of the quantity and inability to flesh them out and have them be dynamic in under 2 hours. I'd argue that the location is the main character. That is why audiences didn't connect with the actors. You were supposed to connect with the location by seeing how the characters interacted with it. The film is literally called Here, not them or those people. The location is incredibly dynamic. It serves many purposes and changes significantly throughout the film. There are many more complaints, such as the way it was filmed and the performances, and I don't want to ramble, so I'll say this. Paul Bettany gives an incredible performance worthy of award recognition. Alan Silvestri's score is incredibly beautiful, in my opinion, one of the year's best. If you love Forrest Gump, check this out because it's the same team. And if you like seeing plays on stage, you should see it because it'll give you a similar experience. A film that I'm pretty sure no one is talking about at all this year is Skincare. It's a thriller about an esthetician played by Elizabeth Banks as she seeks to find the person who has been harassing her. Her immediate suspicion is a rival who opened a boutique across from hers, but things get incredibly complicated. This isn't a film I would typically see just on gut instinct, but my girlfriend and I thought it looked interesting and decided to check it out. It ended up being a good time with great performances from Elizabeth Banks and Lewis Pullman. While the plot was based on a true story, it felt very original and it made for a fun time in the theaters. Why was this film overlooked? I think it may be because the script isn't the best ever, but it also wasn't horrible. I think the performances carried the film as well as the plot that seemed incredibly bonkers. I also think that because the film had a very small release in a few theaters, it didn't get as much attention as it should have. The film felt like something that people would go crazy for on Netflix that would also have a 6-part documentary released alongside it. I don't mean that in a bad way, I just think that audiences who like those types of films would love this movie. If you love true crime, Elizabeth Banks, or need a fun movie night movie, this is the film for you. We Live in Time is a film starring Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh. It's a non-linear film where Garfield plays a Weetabix executive who falls in love with Almut, played by Florence Pugh, who is an extraordinary chef. We follow the couple over the course of a decade. We see the couple's struggles and hardships as they navigate life and their relationship. And Garfield and Pugh turn in some incredible performances. I may be a bit biased as I'm a fan of both of their work, but they are incredible in this film, and they had a very natural chemistry which had me hooked to the story for its entire duration. While the film didn't have as great of an emotional payoff for me by the end of the film, I still thought Garfield and Pugh turned in award-winning performances that I thought for sure would be nominated. Why was this film overlooked? Honestly, I don't know. It may have to do with the film being a rom-com, as many overlook these as chick flicks. But this film was a romantic drama that has moments of comedy as well as complex themes about love, life, and loss. I think in addition to its genre, others may have been put off by its emotional payoff at the end. The ending wasn't bad, but I think many people just may have needed something more. I can't really put into words what that is, but I just needed more oomph. I also think by the time awards season was really in full swing, this movie was forgotten by many. If you love Andrew Garfield, Florence Pugh, great acting, or movies about life that aren't your own, you will love this movie. The Order is a film about the true story of an FBI agent trying to stop a white supremacist group and their plans to overthrow the government. It features Jude Law, Nicholas Hoult, Ty Sheridan, and Jurnee Smollett. The film feels like a time capsule ripped right out of the 70s or 80s. It's got all the right stuff for the perfect crime thriller and is incredibly engaging from start to finish. The craziest part about the film is that it's based on a true story, and that story relates heavily to events currently happening in the United States. That, along with the quality of the film, makes me shocked that it hasn't garnered more attention. Why is it underrated? Firstly, the film wasn't funded by a major studio. The film was independent, meaning independent filming budget and an independent marketing budget to go along with it. If it had the backing of a major studio, it may have had more eyes on it. The implication that this film represents a negative period in US history that is still happening and repeating to this day is a controversial topic for many, which is why I think this film is kind of hidden to some. I, for one, don't think it's controversial at all. And if you don't think so either, you should see this film. It feels like a classic crime movie with incredible performances by Hoult and Law. It was eye-opening for me, as I hope it will be for you. The last film I want to talk about has actually been nominated for so many awards this year, but I think it has been overlooked by many in the chaos of awards season. That film is Sing Sing. The film stars Colman Domingo and a cast of many formerly incarcerated men portraying the story of a prison theater group. Through the arts, they learn collaboration, compassion, and express themselves in a way they never thought possible. Let's get this out of the way right now. Clarence Macklin should be nominated for Best Supporting Actor in every major awards ceremony. The dude is incredible, gives one of the best performances of the year, has outstanding chemistry with Domingo, and can go toe-to-toe with the best. Domingo does the exact same thing, which is no surprise. The man has been nominated for Best Actor 2 years in a row. 2! Yet I don't think people know his name as well as they should. He gives such a powerful performance in this film, and I think the message of the film is so much more meaningful than any statement voters are trying to make with the other films in contention this year. The film is about how we can heal when we come together, learn from each other, and how there is always hope in the darkest time. This should be the message of this year, and this film exemplifies it. I really think this movie is so underrated, it's so powerful, and it doesn't rely on anything too complex or blockbuster. It's accessible to all, and the film is a movie everyone can sympathize with and understand. Why is it underrated? I'm not sure it is. I think most people who love film know about this movie, but I think it would be a household name if it was more likely to win Best Picture. I think it's probably more unknown in the general population, and this is probably because it's living underneath A24's other film, The Brutalist, which is a great film, but I think Sing Sing is much better. I think this film has been underrated due to the way A24 handled the home release. It didn't get a home release until 8 months after its theatrical run, and the award campaign by them has been virtually non-existent compared to their push of The Brutalist. If you watch any film I've suggested in this video, do yourself a favor and please watch Sing Sing. It's my favorite film of 2024, and it's far superior to The Brutalist. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and consider subscribing, as both would help my channel out immensely. So long, and I'll see you in the next one.